Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be drawing a picture of my horse Honey. This horse is my absolute best friend. She's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to start by drawing the picture in that top left corner. So I'm going to draw her head first and then I take all the measurements from the head. So I'll start by drawing her face. I'll just do the rough shape. Just the rough shape. My dogs are being little terrorleras. Hey, baby. So I'll just draw her head first. Draw her head first. Just get the rough shape in. It doesn't have to be exactly right. Hang on just a second. I'm just going to take Pippi out. Come on, Pippi. Out you come. Come on, Pippi. Come on, Pippi. Out you come. Come on, Pippi. Pippi, come on. Sarah. She's going to crumple at me. Bear's in, he has to stay out because she growls at me when I stream. She doesn't like sharing the attention. She's a funny little doodah. Okay, so I'll draw her head. Now I'll draw her ears. Like that. So this is just a very rough shape. Like that. Okay. Now I've got to broaden her eyebrow. Now I can start to do the detail on her head a little bit. You can see her cheek. She's a quarter horse, so she's got deep, big cheeks, big jowls. Her head's slightly turned that way. I will lengthen her nose a fraction. Like this. I can widen her eye out. So this will take a little bit of adjusting here and there. Just a little. Okay, so that's her head. So now the length of her head is the length of her neck. So I'll use my pencil. So the length of her head is the length of her neck. So I'll put my finger there so I've got a rough guide and I'll follow the angle that I can see her neck going. Now, if I look at her chin, her chest is just below her chin. So it can be a bit of a trick. Looking at horse proportions, you just break it into shapes. Now her head and her shoulder are almost the same length. So again, her head and her shoulder are almost the same, almost the same depth. So I'll draw her chest now. Now the shoulder, the front part of her chest comes about the midpoint of her chin, about there. She's got a very broad chest. So I'll draw that there like that. Her legs are going to drop off the bottom of the page, I've just realised, so I'm going to have to draw her a little bit smaller. I've just had that moment of, oh, I've drawn her too big. Hello, Shane, how are you, doll? So I've got to erase her and draw her a little bit smaller so she fits on my page. There we go. So how are you, Shane? Draw her a little bit smaller. I'll just draw the rough shapes in. Oops, nope, not happy with that either. Bit lower. There we go. Just the shapes. Like that. Get the basics in. Going great. Awesome. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. Okay, so we're back to this again. Just had to start that sketch again just because it was in slightly the wrong spot and a bit too big. So hopefully now she'll fit because you can see her head was down here. So now the lower part of her legs should work. Okay, so again, her head and her neck, the same length, same angle. So down to that way. Hang on, head and neck. So neck goes to there. And again, you can see her neck just comes out to the bottom there and then it's her chest comes to about the mid or this part of her chin. And then her head and her chest are almost the same length. So like that. Now her neck, because she's facing away from us, her neck and her rump, did I tell you? Mum is doing some tapestry. Yes, you did. Thank you. That is so sweet of her. So sweet of her. Now her neck and her bottom, the rump, are there. Now she's a quarter horse, so her bottom is quite high. Now I can see that her bottom actually goes just below her eye line. So she's got quite a high back bottom. So I'll draw that in. And then she's got a nice round bum. Like that. And big muscly backside. Now her chest and her head and her shoulders to the back of her elbow is the same width. So I draw that there like that. She's got a big fat belly. She's got a big grass belly at the moment. So I'll draw her chest in. I can draw her big grass belly. Like that. This is a horse I used to show many years ago. She's 16 now. She's an old girl now. Not terribly old, but you're up early. Do you have your tea? I'm being bad. I've gone back onto coffee. I've got my black coffee, no sugar. So I've stayed off the sugar and I've stayed off the milk, but I've got black coffee. So, yep, I do. So now her leg, her head, from her shoulder to her fetlock, which is the lowest joint on her leg, is the length of her head. So length of her head, from her shoulder to her fetlock is to there. Then her hoof is underneath that. Same with the other front leg, which are the same length. So I'll just draw that. She's got a big muscle on the front of her leg there. Draw that leg down. I'm just marking them out for now just to get the spot, everything in the right spot. Yeah, I've been awake since about 4:30 this morning. Now this leg, same length, but it comes in. You can see it sort of comes in like that. And then she's got it sort of turned away from us. Her knee, is sort of bent sideways a little bit. I went out and took these photos yesterday. And then the other leg is tucked behind. You can just see the light coming through the bottom. And I like this photo. I took this photo yesterday. I was wandering around the paddock. But I like the light. The light was really pretty. It's a really warm day. But you can see our grass is no grass. Our paddocks are dry. Now her knee is... So her knee is just above halfway down her leg, about there. And then that's her, this is her, they call it the cannon. And then her hoof goes down under that. So there we go, got it fitting in. She fits in, woohoo! Because the first sketch didn't fit. Now she's got her muscle and, oh gosh. Mike, thank you for the sub. Shout out to Mike. Shout out at Mike the potato. Where's that gone? I'm trying to do this. I usually do it on my. Did that work? No. I'm just going to have to pop onto the big computer because my Mac is not working. So I've got to do a shout out over here. Just bear with me a second. So Twitch. Got to get onto it over here. Just bear with me a second so I can do my shout outs on my main computer. It's not letting me do it on my Apple. Create a dashboard. Go there. Go there. Go stream manager. There we go. Then go shout out. Shout out at Mike. There we go. Now it's going to let me do it. It won't let me do it on my iPad. There we go. Done it now. I'm good. How are you? How are you? Doing a painting of my little horse, Honey. I'm going to do a few portraits of my own horses because I haven't done portraits of my horses in ages. Good. Good news. Potato Goddess got visa approval. Yay! Very good. So when's she coming out? That is so exciting. So exciting, doll. Now the other fetlock's down there. Now her tail comes down the back and she's a Palomino. End of Feb. Oh, beautiful. That's wonderful news, Mike. That is amazing. So now I'm just going to draw her mane in. She's only got a little bit of a mane. It's all hanging over the other side. The marks on her chest, you can see she's got like 4 stripes. She's been leaning over the fence. I called her up and she leant over the fence to have a cuddle. So she's got the fence paint sort of sitting on her, or it's the oil off the fence sitting on her chest. That's what those marks are. So she's a silly sausage. The old honey bunny, her name's Honey. Now she's got a blaze that comes down the front of her face and onto her nose. She's very pretty, this little horse. I actually found some video footage of her yesterday when I used to show her. I'll have to try and upload it onto YouTube. I don't know how though. I've got to get my kids to help me. Because I had it on a hard drive, all these old videos, and she used to do Liberty work, which is like freehand. She was no harness, no anything. She'd just run along next to me and do everything that I asked her to do. She was so bloody good at her showing. We're so excited to finally be done with the immigration stuff. Oh my God, all the paperwork is just horrible. It really is. They make it so difficult. They make it so difficult, but at least you don't have to worry about it after this. It'll all be done, and you can be together finally, which will be lovely. Now, I'll fix her eyes up as I go down. Now, she's a quarter horse, so she's got very deep jowls. You can see her chin is super deep. I've got to make that a bit deeper on this side like that. She's got a beautiful head, this horse. Absolutely gorgeous head. Whoops, today's my eraser's dirty. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to be going over this with acrylic paint today. It's going to be acrylic paint. I'm not going to worry about the background. I'm just going to focus on her, my subject. And I will be working on each horse that I have. I've got my husband's horse, Denny, and we've got another horse, Willow, that I'm going to paint as well. But I haven't done portraits of our horses. I've done one portrait of one of my horses, so I need to do more. You playing any games recently? No, I haven't for ages. Mike. I want to. But my memory in my computer is a bit low, and to run games and edit videos, it doesn't have enough memory, which makes me a bit sad. I've only got a couple of games on my PC at the second. But I might. I haven't for ages. I've got my, my PlayStation. I can play on that because that's, that doesn't affect, but I just don't have the camera on that, that's all. But I can stream on that. But I like PC. Okay, having a quick look now. I've got to soften the angle on her chest a little bit. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave that. That's okay. I'm quite happy. I'm going to leave it. So now I'm going to grab my brushes and I'm going to make up a colour. I'm going to, now for her, she's a golden colour. I'm going to use yellow ochre. I'm going to start with yellow ochre. Got to be careful not to dip into my coffee. I'm going to put my coffee on this side. Because otherwise, my camera's sitting up. Put my camera down a fraction. Because otherwise I'm going to end up dipping into my coffee. Now, that's yellow ochre. I'll put it over here where you can see it a little bit. And I'm going to start just with a light wash, sort of almost watercolour-y, of the yellow ochre on her face. And I liked this photo because I got some great shadows in the reference. So I'm trying to take my own photos tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to go to the zoo and get some fresh animal photos so I can do some more wildlife stuff. So that's the plan anywho. I'm going to start going to the zoo and doing a lot more work from life. Try and film it somehow. Okay, so this is just a very watered down, very diluted wash of yellow ochre. Now her chin, her muzzle and her chin are a little bit. I'm going to take her chest out a little bit wider. There we go. I'll leave the white of her mane. I don't have to for acrylic. I can just go over it with acrylic, but just because I want to. Being careful still to do the brush strokes in the direction of her fur. It looks a bit greeny on the camera. Don't know why. It's gold, but it looks a bit greeny. So don't panic, people. It's not green. It's yellow ochre. It's yellowy brown. The watercolour version looks much greener than this, so I have to say. And I like this too because I've got great highlights on her back. The sun's, because it was a 30-odd degree day, the sun's hitting her back and she's got a real glow to the back. So I'm looking forward to trying to add that in. Should be using a bigger brush than this. I'm going to grab a slightly bigger flat brush. Don't usually use flat brushes, but I've got to get used to it. Okay, go a bit thicker. Bit thicker. There we go. And I'm using watercolour paper because I like watercolour paper. So again, following the direction, the shape of her body. Come down and around. Like that. Just got to fill her all in. This brush doesn't hold much paint. Okay, come down and around, following the direction of her fur. And she's got her summer coat now, so she's all golden and gorgeous, as you can tell. Come down here onto this leg. Now she's got a white sock on this foot and a white sock on this foot. So she's got a little bit of white bit, so I don't want to go right to the bottom of her foot. I can because it's acrylic. She has a tiny, oh, she doesn't have white on this one. She has white on the other one. There we go. Like that. Okay, let's have another look. Getting back to my reference. Fill in this leg. All right, having another quick look. Coming down onto her body, onto her butt, onto her butt. And I've got my acrylic in a stay wet palette, so I don't have to dish it out every time I do a stream. I can just literally pick up my palette and start, which is really handy. So I kept it in the fridge to keep it nice and all the moisture in. I've got a drawer at the bottom of the fridge that I stick my watercolour my paint palette in, my acrylic paint palette. And it keeps the paint nice and wet, so it doesn't dry up on me. And I put a wet sponge in with it as well. All right, so there we go. That's her body basically blocked in. Now, I'm going to go back in. You can see she's got darker tones. Clean up that brush. Pop it back in the thingy because I won't be using that again. Now, I've got, that brush has got acrylic on the end of it. That's not very good. What am I going to use? I'm going to use this. I've got more of a coarse brush here. I'm going to add a bit of umber, I think. See how that goes. A bit of umber just to darken up. Just under her tummy, under here. Because you can see she's got shadow tones. So I just want to darken up under her belly. Just to get some of this shadow in. And this is Archer's watercolour paper. But I use it for acrylic as well. Because it's a water-based medium, it can handle it. Water-based paper. Or water, what do you call it? Works with water mediums is what I'm trying to say. Now I've got to add the shadow under her neck, so I'm just going to block that in. So I'm just adding a bit of burnt umber to the yellow ochre. Take that down anywhere that I can see the shadows. And if I go too heavy, I can lighten it up down the track. Like like that. Come down onto her chest. Like that. Got to move pretty quick because this does dry. Now the bottom part of her face on this side, it's in shadow. This leg's in shadow. Got a little bit of a bristle on that brush I've got to cut off because I don't want to end up with a little tiny bit of paint going in the wrong direction. One rogue bristle I've got to take off. Oh my God, doesn't want to cut. There we go. No? Doesn't want to cut. Can't even see it. Hang on. Oh, don't worry about it. Can't see it. Maybe I can pull it out. Yeah, got it. I pulled it out. Okay. Just had a rogue bristle that I didn't want sticking out, but I solved it, got rid of it. All right. Now that whole leg's in shadow. So just come to the bottom of it. Being careful not to miss. She's got her foot. There's white. Now this leg's almost completely in shadow. Again, following the direction of the fur. And this will take a few layers. So I'm going to wet my brush and just soften that a bit. Take it down her leg. I really like the shadow in this picture. Right down the leg like that. That leg's in shadow. Oopsie-days. The grass is a very light green. I might add the background, but I'm not sure. I don't like this brush. It's quite rough. I'm going to go back to my round. I like rounds. I can control the edge of the rounds better. I can control the edge of the round better. Like that. Okay. Now come down onto the other back leg. You can see she's got darker down there. I'll go my burnt umber again. Bit more yellow ochre. Like that. Come down onto the leg. She's got a bit of grey on that leg as well, which I've got to be a bit aware of. Now I've got to also add dark into the ears. Dark into the ears. And I'll go even darker than that in a minute. Got to blend that out a bit more. Come down on this side of her face. Now I can see this is in shadow here. Oop, see I haven't taken that white right across. I've got to take that white a bit further across. There. Come down on her face. Okay. And darken up above her eye. I've got her, because I've reversed this photo because I like drawing from left to right. So I've got to remember that everything's actually a little bit reversed like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my white. And I've added a little bit of yellow ochre to it. That. Want to see you draw your doggos? I will. I will. I've got some photos of them actually to work from. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to that. A little bit more ochre to her tail. You can see her tail's white, but it's quite dirty. When she's in show condition, her tail is glossy white. And then I've got a buckskin gelding, or my husband's got a buckskin gelding, Danny, and he's got gold with black mane and tail. So I've got a gold with white mane and tail and a gold with black mane and tail. They're beautiful horses. They really are quite lovely. And I'm also going to add now highlight to the top of her back. As you can see, she's got a real gloss up the top. Like that. And that's what I like about taking your own photos, because if you look at references online, you don't get many highlights. You lose your highlights. They tend to edit them out. So I like to have lots of gloss, lots of lights and darks. It really helps to make the reference pop, make the picture pop. Now I'm going to draw her face, her blaze in. Stop languaging for a second then. Pop her blaze in. I've got to darken up her nose because she's got grey on her nose, grey and pink on her actual nose. Now she's got a little sock here. She's got a little bit of a sock there. Little part socks on her back feet. Oops. Like that. And her tail almost comes to the ground. You need to do some all English. Hey? Oh, gotcha. My brain stopped braining again. So I've stopped Englishing and braining apparently. Languaging, Englishing and braining. It's all stopped. Okay, now I'm going to get my really fine brush, which I dug out after stream yesterday because I was trying to find my thin brushes and I couldn't find them anywhere. So now I've found my thin brushes. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to draw the shadows under her because the shadows are really quite effective. And I'm going to use blue and red. I'm going to make a purple. Blue and I'll go just red. The shadows are cool. The purples are nice. Oh, that's way too strong. Okay, hang on, go a bit more blue. I'm just going to add just a little purple shadow under her just to ground her like that. She does have that little shadow that comes under there. Like that. Take it right to the bottom anyway. There we go. Okay, so that grounds her to the bottom. Jen, Cheeto is so pretty. If I ask you to draw Cheeto, do you think you could? Oh, I think I probably could. I think I could, mate. Now I'm going to make up a pink. So I'm going to use red and white to make my pink. Because she's got a little bit of pink on the tip of her nose. Got to make it a little bit pinkish there. On the very tip of her nose. Like that. Happy to give it a go, doll. Now she's got grey. So for grey, I make my own. I go burnt umber, cobalt blue. Burnt umber, cobalt blue. Makes a lovely natural grey. I use the same mixes in my acrylic as I do in my watercolours as well. I use exactly the same mixtures. She's got a bit of white on the very tip of her nose. I've got to do her nostrils. There we go, like that. And now I'm looking at her hoof, so I'm going to go down onto her hoof. I've got to put her hoof on. So I've actually put it under the, got to put it over the purple. But I can go back and adjust that later on in a little bit of time. Righto, let's have a look. Now her eyes, can't see any detail on her eyes. So burnt umber, cobalt blue for the dark grey. They're just dark, blocked out. Actually, I'm going to get my even finer little brush. I've got a really fine one. Look at how tiny the doodah at the end of that is. I found that when I was going through all my stuff just yesterday. And I'm going to use that to mark in her eye and her finer details. And her eye, because it's coming out that side, is on an angle like that. There we go. And that eye comes like that. Now I'm going to use a bit of Payne's Grey just for the darkest part of her nostrils. As you can see, she's got super dark just in that part of her nostril there. Oh, I've got paint on my palette, on my paper. Doesn't matter, I might have to do a background. Show you those pictures in the Discord? Cool. Cool, cool. Now I'm going to add a bit more brown. Bit more brown. I'm looking at her photo. I've got to add, hang on, let's go back to the other reference. I want the shadows to be right. Now I've got to grey up the shadows here. So I'm going to use this grey, dilute it down, grab my slightly bigger brush, dilute it down and add this grey to the shadows down this side and really dilute it. A bit over here as well. Like that. We're going to start to get everything to pop up, to pop out. I'm going to go a bit more brown, actually. A bit more brown to that. Go back up to my, see, it dries on this palette really fast. I need to use a palette with a sponge under it for acrylic. It keeps the palette wet so my paint won't dry as fast on the palette, because I'm just using my watercolour palette at the second, and it's sort of not really good for acrylic. So I'm going to go a stronger brown, a reddy brown actually. Try and strengthen up some of these darks. That, a bit more golden. How are you dogs? They're good. They're very good. I've got Bear's asleep down sort of under the art desk here, and Pippi's at the door, because if I do an art stream and Pippi's in the room, she howls at me. So she can't be in here when I'm arting, sadly, because she gets jealous of me talking to you guys. Because she's a quirky little dude. She's a very quirky little dude. Now I'm going to add a bit of blue. I need it to be darker. I need it to be a grey brown, like that. I've got to exaggerate the shadows in the darkest areas, like under here, where I can see it's super dark, to get the three-dimensional look. Like that. You can see her chest muscle there. Like that. And that knee is quite dark because it's in shadow. Keeping the shape. I want to go out and get some bird photos today as well. I've got to duck down the paddock and try and get some nice photos for bird references as well. Okay, now that's actually nearly all dark, isn't it? So I might just blend that up a little bit, like that. Okay. Hello, Joe. How are you, doll? Right, now having another look. Burnt umber, yellow ochre, a bit more burnt umber, just to darken up that brown. So this is my horse, Joe. This is my horse, Honey. She's a gorgeous little thing. So it certainly is. I'm going to do a few portraits. I've got to do my other horses as well. We've got two other horses that I want to do portraits of. Right, Honey and Denny. So Honey's my show horse that I used to show. And well, I used to show both of them. This one I used to do Western Pleasure and Western Showing with. And ranch, and what were the other classes that I did? Trail, which is like over poles and stuff. And then Denny was for reining, the fast stuff. Honey was for more of the technical, slow stuff. And Denny was for the reining and the ranch. The reining and, ranch, yeah. Brown and yellow. Am I the only founder left? I don't think so. No, we've got Shane and Trip's still here. Just my time zone's so all over the place. Like, Australia's so far out of the time for everyone. Everyone's usually in bed when I stream. Because Australia's on the other side of the planet, all the wrong time zone. She's stunning. Thank you. I'll show you a picture of Denny, actually. I've got my beautiful Denny bear. He's gorgeous too. I'll show you a photo of him if I can find it on here. I didn't download him onto here. Hang on, I'll show him on my phone. I can't show him on my phone. My phone's filming. I'll show you a picture of my other horse tomorrow. I'll have to upload them. Because I forgot, I've got my phone up there to film for YouTube as well, to do shorts. Because I've been doing lots of shorts as well. It's got a blend. Actually, I can show you on my big computer. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to go here. Hang on, put that over there. Then I'm going to go here. Go photos. Photos. Where's my photos? There. And then I can bring up Denny. He's a beautiful boy. Hang on, just going to bring that photo up. Make it big. So this is Denny. Hang on, I'm just going to open up my left screen so you can see it. Left screen. Where's left screen? Whoops, the daisy. Make that bigger. Why did that do that? Hang on. Like that. Hang on, left screen. Uh-oh. I've done all the things. Uh-oh. I'm pressing all the buttons. What have I done? Hang on, I see. Just bear with me a second. Okay, left screen. Left screen. Left screen. Just got to find it. Where is it? Left screen. What have I done? Hang on just a sec. Oops. There we go. Where's my left screen gone? Oh. Hang on. What have I done? Oh, there it is. Share that screen. Ding. So that is Denny. Isn't he beautiful? How many years have you been doing this? Oh, God, 4.5, nearly 5. So that's Denny. He's my other show horse. Yeah, so I reined him, I showed him for a few years, 2 or 3 years, and we got up to national shows. So we travelled around Australia with him, which was good fun. Honey, I did a lot in Victoria, around Victoria, but Denny I did around Australia. So he is a beautiful horse. So that was in his show halter. He is beautiful. He is beautiful. I'll see if I can find, hang on just a second. If I can find, just bear with me a second. Let's go back into my photos, because I did have a couple photos. Pictures. Did I have any of him under saddle? I don't think I did. No, I didn't have any. And this is Willow. She's beautiful too. Hang on. So Willow. She's a draft horse cross. She's out of my dressage mare. So I'll show you her. Her giant mane out of control. So this is Willow. So she's a Clydesdale cross, but I did a bit of dressage with her mum. So yeah, so she's our other horse that I'm going to paint. So I've got a few to do. A few horses lined up, which is good fun. Good fun. Now I've got to figure out how to make this all big again. I've pressed all the buttons. There we go. Make that big. Ding. There we go. 5 years, and we've been here since almost the beginning. Where's the time gone? I know. It has gone so fast. So fast. So fast. Oh, have I lost? Hang on. I've lost another screen. Hang on. What have I done? Oh, there it is. It's all right. Still got it. I'll pop that up there. There we go. Okay, now I'm having a quick look. I've got a grey up under her. Oh, see, that's dried. I need to get a wet palette, like a one with cloth under it. I actually have somewhere an acrylic palette, but I've got to dig it out, got to find it. Now she's got shadow up here. The acrylic paint does dry fast on the palette. But if I add too much water, it'll dilute it. And I don't really want to do that. I just resubbed for 58 months. I didn't do you a shout out, did I? Hang on, nearly 5. Oh my God, yes. Shout out at Mike the Potato. So what have you been playing lately? What have you been playing lately, doll? I've got to do some more emotes actually for Twitch. So I've got 5 slots that I haven't filled yet. So I've got to make some more. I have to get on my iPad and do make some emotes up. No idea what I'm going to do, but I'll figure it out. Okay. So you see we've got the contrast with the shadows nicely. Nothing over the past month. I just got back from vacation. Oh, nice. Lovely, lovely. Now I'm going to add a bit of this grey around her nose because you can see it comes down onto her nose a little bit more than I've got it. She's got a little bit of grey here. A little bit of grey there. I've got to darken up inside her ears as well, into the middle of her ears. Oops, I nearly dipped into the purple then. Don't want to dip into the purple. Into her ears to darken up the middle. So that's a little bit of Payne's Grey. I was playing as a robot following all orders. Of course, really bad endings. Oh, it's the fun part, isn't it? Now I'm going to go super dark in the shadows underneath just to really create a little bit of contrast. Because the trick is shadows really bring things to life. The darkest against the lights really makes the picture pop. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty. Nice. I've got Call of Duty. I played it like for a day. I've got to get my butt into gear and play some more. I've got it. I've got to update it. But I haven't played it much at all. Don't know what's been going on. Because my PC doesn't have the memory to hold games, that's why. And do streams and video editing and all the stuff. Not a fan of COD? Oh, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. The adrenaline of it. I was thinking about whipping out the Master Chief collection again, though, I have to say. Do love that. I'm going to pop some shadows back in over here. I can see there's a shadow on her chest there. Just adding these little darks and lights really help to make things pop out a bit better. I'm not happy. I'm not overly happy with her chest. Jen, would you like some help editing? Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. I just keep it simple. I just keep it simple, and I just don't. That's why I just don't have the games on my PC at the moment. I've got my iPad, not my iPad, my PS5 that I play on. I like PC games, so I've got to get my memory upgraded. That's all. So I've got to go to the computer shop and get my memory upgraded, and then I'll be fine. I'm going to go like thicker yellow ochre just onto the middle of her belly here, and I'll blend that out. You can see I treat this sort of like watercolour. And I quite enjoy editing, I have to say. I quite enjoy it. I like adding the music and doing all that sort of stuff. I've got it down to an art now. I can do simple. I've gotten into editing if you ever wanted. Oh, thank you. That's much appreciated, doll. Much appreciated. Yeah, I enjoy it. And I love making shorts and stuff for YouTube. I find it quite relaxing. So usually what I do after I stream, I'll sit there for a few hours and just edit most days for the other channel, like for YouTube and stuff. And I do really enjoy it. So now you can see I'm darkening up just the middle of her belly. I'm going to take that down. I can blend it a bit. I've got to be careful because I don't want to go over that shadowy brown at the bottom. It's going to soften those edges a little bit. I'm going to wet my brush and just sort of blend that out a little bit. Okay. Having another quick look at my screen. I've got to do more in here. I've got to add some blues, some cobalt blue and a bit of white into the shadows on her white because I use blue for the shadows on white. So I'm going to make a pale blue for these shadows here. And onto this side of the white of her face. Anywhere I can see. She's got shadow. She's got shadow up here under her forelock. Like that. Shadow there. I can go over the top of this with a bit of white as well. Bit of shadow around the top of her nose. Like that. Having another look. Shadow around her eye. I'll use that same blue shadow for around her eye. Coming up above this eye. Oops. It's a bit stronger. There we go. I can also, got to be a bit careful because it'll make it greeny if I go onto the blue, onto the gold, sorry, but I do want to add a little bit. I'll go thick enough, actually. No, because it's not, because it's acrylic, it won't do that. See, these are things that I've got to remember. Because it's acrylic paint, I can actually go over the other colours and it won't change colour like watercolour does. Oh, see? Oops, just started to rain here. Hey Joyce, how are you, doll? How are you? Joyce is a beautiful creator on YouTube, one of my YouTube friends. How are you today, lovely lady? I'm just adding this blue to the shadows. I'm undecided whether I take shadows right down. I will. Okay, see that blue works. It does work. I'm going to add a bit of that blue to here now, to just the back of her chin. I need a bit more contrast between her chin and her neck. Like that. Like that. Having another look. Gonna hop off and get ready for work. No worries, mate. Love you back. Have an awesome day at work. You have rain in Australia. It's summer in, I'm shocked. Yeah, but it's still 30 degrees Celsius. Storms. We get storms. So today they've predicted storms all day. So wet and stormy and 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit for any of my buddies in America. I'm going to Google that. What is Celsius? 30 Celsius. 30 Celsius to Fahrenheit. It is, how do I do that? So 78, 80 degrees, I think. How do I do that? Hang on. Fahrenheit, Celsius to Fahrenheit. I'll just Google that. Celsius to Fahrenheit. To Fahrenheit. Oh, there we go. So 30 Celsius. So it's 86. There you go. It's 86 degrees to my American friends. And raining. 86 and rain, which is lovely. Pea soup. Have a great stream, great editing. Thank you. Thank you. It was lovely to see you too, Dal. Lovely to see you too. Oh, and there's the thunder. That means I'll have to cut this stream short because Pippi is terrified of storms. The other day I had to sit and just cuddle her. She's my other Jack Russell. She gets very stressed in storms. So I'll finish this. Come down onto her leg. Go into the shadows on the back like that. Okay, looking at her face, there's a line coming down It's a muscle, a cheek line coming down there. I've got to add a little bit of white to around the tip of her eyelash as well. Just need to give her eye a little bit more definition. And I can get a little bit of a highlight on her cheek. Whoops. A bit more light on her cheek. Like that. Bit more bright white on her back where it's shining. Now, I'm actually going to do the background. I'm going to do the grass, I think. And the grass is actually, it's not green. It's gone brown. Our grass is all dead. I will add a teeny bit of green to it. Got a sap green here, and I'll go sap green and white. Sap green and white and see what happens. And maybe a little bit of brown to it just to round it off, or a bit of yellow ochre maybe. See what that does. Yeah, that makes a sort of an Australian-y, olivey looking grass. So I'm going to take that around her body. I need a bigger brush than that, so I'm going to go and grab a slightly bigger brush. That one. I'm going to take this green right round. Not going to worry about the fence or anything. I'm just going to blot that on. Take it all round. So that green is yellow ochre, touch of blue, bit of sap green. Just a bit of a mix of all the things. Whoops. It can be a bit different throughout. This grass isn't one universal colour because our grass is very dead, very brown at the moment. I'll add some highlights through that as I go as well. So I'll go back to my sap green. Go back a bit white, a bit of white. A bit more white than that. Here we go. That yellow ochre I can add right into it. I can add some more shadows through the back of that. And so you can see Denny's in the background there. My other horse, he's off in the distance behind her. Yep, so the rain stopped now. We need more. We need a lot more because our tanks are getting low. So we don't have town water. We only have rainwater. So we're sort of dependent on it, but we don't get a lot. Okay, come down here. I'm going to fill in all the little gappy bits. Maybe I won't be going to the zoo tomorrow if we're going to have storms. Okay, now I'm quite liking that. I'm quite liking how that's looking. I'm going to fill in all this back. See, I've got her way over to the left, but I don't mind that. I can actually trim this. I can trim the paper if I want to. Keep my brush strokes small. Yeah, it was a toss-up whether I did this with acrylic or watercolour. It wasn't decided. Wasn't 100% decided. Sap green and white. Get a bit more white. Oh, I can hear the cockies in my tree outside. I want to get out. See, the cockies will be around now because of the water. So I want to get some more photos of the cockatoos for artwork. So I've got that quite thick. Got to dilute it down a bit. I can treat it. You can treat acrylic like watercolour to a degree. It's always going to be opaque, but you can still use it. I can go over the edge of the tail. Bit more yellow ochre in it. I don't mind having all different sort of, because I'm going to go over the top of it with grass detail anyway. You can't see the sky in this, you can only see the grass. So I'll just go up the top and fill that in as well. Create a nice bit of contrast. You can hear the cockatoos squawking. They're all having a bit of a squawk because of the rain. I was sitting out there yesterday watching all the birds, and I spent a lot of hours sitting watching the birds. And they all went psycho. All of them started screeching and yelling and tweeting and chirping, and all of them at once. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? And then 3 big wedge-tailed eagles flew over. I was like, ooh. That's what they were squawking about. There was predators. Because we've had one eagle hanging around because we've got lots of bunny rabbits. But, yeah, yesterday we had 3 because they're coming into all the bunnies and the lambs and stuff. Because our eagles are big enough to carry off a lamb. But, yeah, we had 3 over the farm yesterday, which was, I haven't seen them for ages. So it means their habitat's obviously doing all right, which is good. But all my little birds got terrified. All the little wild birds got terrified. Hello, Bacon. How are you, doll? How are you? I'm doing a portrait of my little horse here today. You can see I've got a lot more yellow ochre down here, so I'm going to go over it. Come into her chin. You can see I've gone different directions with my brush strokes, but I'm actually going to go back over and add a bit of grassy texture over the top. So that'll diffuse that a little bit. I haven't got many trees, got a little bit of shrubbery in the background there. Now, okay, having a quick look. I am going to add yellow ochre and white. I can even go over with a bit of white, just white. Just start to add a bit of grassy looking texture around. Oh, that's still wet. It doesn't matter that it's not the same as the photo because you never see the photo with the reference. So it's not really an issue. Just keep that background a bit mottly. I might do. See Denny off in the background. I've got to remember to keep my brush strokes going the same way, hey? And then there's darker green in the background a little bit. A bit of a shrubby bit. Somewhere I've got a fan brush. That could work. Usually you can use a sort of a cut up brush to do texture on grass. Am I going to do, I'm just trying to decide whether I'm going to do the fence in the background. I'm going to add a darker green, stronger green into that shadow there. I've had purpley tone to. I'll also add a bit of that darker green up here. Oops. Those little shrubby bits just there. And they disappear off beside her a bit. There's a little bit over here. Let's get the different tones in. I'm just sort of daubing that on. Just sort of daubing it. Having a quick look at the reference on the screen up there. Not very good at, I like skies and things, but just grass backgrounds are quite hard. I find it quite intimidating with the grass. It can be a bit fiddly diddly. because there's really not a lot of, could add a bit of brown to the top of these little weeds out here because they've got little brown tops on them. Now I'm going to go back to my fine brush and grab. I'm going to draw in some grassy highlights, some light, because all our grass is completely dead. I'm just going to draw in some lighter bits just to keep that interesting. Makes it look a bit more natural. You've got to work through the ugly parts. It got to an ugly spot and I was starting to panic. But now it's starting to look all right again. Shane, thank you for the bits. Shout out to Shane. Don't know why my alert didn't work, but why can't I hear my alert? Why am I silent? Hang on. Oh, I had it muted. Oh, I shouldn't have that on because then I can hear myself back. How do I unmute myself? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Oh yeah, because I've got my speakers, that's why. Okay, so shout out at Shane. There we go. Ta-da! Did that work? No. Hang on. There we go. That worked. How are you? Thank you for that, doll. How are I ever going to get to learning everything and remembering how to do stuff? I always forget how to do stuff. Always forget how to do stuff. So I'm just adding this little bit of texture, a bit of the light around the back. As you can see, the grass has got a lot of the lighter tones through it. A few different greens, so I should make up some different greens as well. There's a few browns up there. It's looking very purple coming in over our hill. Very purple, very stormy looking. Okay, having a quick look. Okay, how we going? So now I'm going to add a bit of this green, but I'm going to make it a bit grassier so it doesn't look quite so flat. I've just done a flat line for the shadow. Shouldn't have done that. Do a darker line. I'm going to add a bit of brown, a bit of blue to that actually. No, I'm not. What am I going to do? Add a bit of grey. Make it a shadowier green. Keep that texture there. Now I'm going to make another green. I'm going to mix up a bit of, get that off my palette. Make up another green just so that I've got some variations in the greens. So I need browny green. So I'm going to go a bit of brown, a bit of green, a bit more brown. That makes a really nice sort of an olivey green. Might just add that sort of up around here. Having a quick look, there's probably a little, actually I can dilute it right down, make it really thin, because I don't want it strong and thick like that. I want it to be subtle like that. I just want a little bit of variation, just a little in the greens. You can see the paddock's not just one green, it's a lot of different greens. There's greens and browns and greys. Australia's very green and grey. I've decided Australia is incredibly green and grey. And continue it on. Don't forget it'll come through there if it goes through there. There we go. I know it's much lighter in the photograph, but I wanted a little bit more contrast. Oops, guys. Now I'm going to add that white back, the highlights. Pure white. Nope, not that brush, this brush. Get that highlight back. because her bottom is bright white, and that will help to contrast the green with the grass. Comes down to here, and I can also add more light around the edge of her tail. Like that. We're starting to pick up. I've got to add some darks into her tail as well, because she's got dirty tail. Dirty tail. Because I haven't bathed her. And she's got a little highlight on here. You can see that highlight there. I'm just looking for highlights now. There's a highlight on that hock down in there. There's a shadow that, or highlight, sorry, that comes down onto her back there. There's a bit of a highlight on her cheek. I've got that. Her nose is whiter down the bottom. It's much brighter on the top of her nose there. So I'm just trying to pick out the brighter areas and mark them now. There's a highlight around her ears. The sun's hitting on that ear. So I'm looking for the highlights now. Whoops, that was nearly a bit too much. Nearly made a mess. There's a highlight around that ear. Like that. Highlight down the back of her neck. Highlight there. Do her little fetlock socks. Can't really see that one, it's in shadow, but I'm going to add some browns to her tail. Already brown to her tail. You can see she's got the darkest streaks coming down underneath. Like that. Okay. Not 100% happy with that background, but I might add a bit of yellow. See if I can get a bit of yellow, a bit of gold onto her as well. Just down in here. It'll help to add a little bit of highlight on there. That's just lemon yellow. She's very gold. It's like a $2 coin. It's like a gold coin she is. All right. I do think I need to try and lighten up this background. So I'm just going to add a bit more diluted white through. Need a little bit more white through the background. Just to lighten that up a bit. Sort of picking it as I go, figuring out what I want to do. There's a horse up there, and Denny's up there. So just little washes of it, sort of here and there. Very diluted, just subtle. Just get a bit more and dilute it. Oops, I'm going to take that up in an upward direction. Like that. All right, pretty happy with that, I think. Pretty happy with that, I think. All right. Hello, Mystic. How are you, doll? How are you? I'm going to go back to my white. Take it down her mane. Having a quick look. Got to soften up the bottoms of her tail because I've got it all sort of hard end and she's not. I haven't levelled her tail, so her tail's a little bit rough. Been a while. Hope you're well. I'm very good, thank you, doll. I am wonderful. I'm a very happy camper. I'm never happier than when I'm painting. Very happy camper. How have you been, doll? I've got to add a bit of a light under there as well. I'm just looking for the lights and the darks now. Any lights and darks? And I reckon I could go a bit more yellow ochre, just pure yellow ochre, just down here. Just helps to lift things a little. Busy with work and stuff? Cool. Cool, cool. I'm going to take that little bit of brown. Actually, you know what? I'm going to add a bit of yellow to that. I want to add a bit of yellow there. Like that. Again, following the direction of the fur. Having another quick look at my big screen. Maybe I'm going to dob that off. I'm going to pad that off because I'm going to add some more white there over the yellow. I'm not keen on that, so I'll add a bit of white over the top. That's the beauty of acrylic. You can go back and forth. If you don't like something, you can go over it. And it's hot here, so it's drying fast. Going to smooth those edges, wet my brush, so I'll put that on a bit thick, wet my brush, and just drag that down a bit, drag it around, just soften that edge, like that. So it sort of goes along the back of her back. She's actually got a bit down here as well. Just going to gently sort of scuff that down. Up a bit off that, take that down. Love acrylics. Oh, I love it. I haven't done it in so long and it's so nice to just not have to worry about, you know, having the colour in the wrong spot because you can just, I keep forgetting, I can just go over it. It's lovely. It's got to add some more furry texture, and it looks painterly, like it's not photographic. I'm not a photographic artist, but it looks painterly. I like seeing how people create work, so I like to include that into my stuff. I've got to add. I know I'm pretty happy with that. You know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to take the edges off like that. At least the bottom 3 edges. And get that out of the way, and I'm going to sign it and say that's done. You're off, Shane. Okay, I'll catch you later, doll. What? Well, we better make a move. Have a great night too, doll. Thank you for popping in. It's always lovely to see you. And I'm going to use this green for my signature down here. Oops, need the fine end of my brush. I'm going to sign that down here like that. And there we go. Whoops. And date it. 25. Got to keep remembering to write 25. Like that. And there we go. So she's signed. So I reckon I'm going to call that. How long have I been on for? How long has it been? An hour 15. So it sort of averages me about an hour to create a piece. Am I going to do another one, or have I got to edit? Let's have a look. What else have I got? No, I might call it for today. I might call it. So let's see who's on, who else we've got on. And let's go and raid for my friends on Twitch. Let's go raid. So I'm going to go here and see who's on. No, my Twitch on there is not working, so I've got to go over here and see who is streaming. Just bear with me for a second. Twitch. Who of my friends are on? Oh, we've got a heap. Okay. We are going to raid Blue. Love Blue Skittle. So let's go and raid. Oops. Hang on. Let's go turn that off. Mute. And then go back. Press all the wrong buttons. Go to there. And then go raid. So I will head off and raid. Thank you so much for hanging out, everyone. Let's go and hang out with the Blue Skittle. Blue Skittle. An amazing artist, a lovely fella. Oh, /raid would be good. So /raid. And I will see you all over there. Have an awesome day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. And I shall see you next stream. Did it work? I don't know if it worked. Hang on. Oh, no, there we go. Raid. I'll see you over there. I didn't press the right button because I'm a silly person.